My CEO ignored me, thinking I was just an ordinary employee, but when a global company offered billions for my secret project, the same people were forced to change their decision. My CEO had ignored me, thinking I was just an ordinary employee, but tonight, when a global company offered billions of dollars for my secret project, the same people who had once refused to listen to me were standing at my door. I was sitting by the window of my suburban home, thinking about everything that had happened. It was 3 a.m. That kind of silence where even the smallest sounds feel louder than they should. The soft glow of streetlights fell across my bedroom floor, while the quiet sound of late-night TV filled the background. Some old show was playing, but my mind was somewhere else. Far away back in those days when I was constantly made to feel like I wasn't important enough. The refrigerator light was glowing in the kitchen. It's strange. Sometimes the quietest things become your greatest companions. I got up to grab some water, and the sound of the coffee machine broke the silence of the house. It reminded me of all those nights I had spent with that same sound in the background, working, thinking, and trying to prove myself. I worked at a major tech company in Seattle. From the outside, everything looked perfect. A good salary, a beautiful office, a huge glass building, and people who always talked about success. But inside that building, there were people who judged your position before they ever recognized your ability. My CEO Richard was one of those people. I still remember that meeting, standing in front of investors who had flown in from Boston, presenting a project I had quietly worked on for nearly 3 years. It wasn't just software. It was a system that could make billions of dollars in business decisions safer and faster. I started my presentation, showed my research, explained the data. But after only a few minutes, Richard interrupted me. "This is interesting, but I don't think you fully understand strategy at this level," he said with a polite smile. That sentence, just a few words, but they stayed with me. I didn't argue. I simply closed my file and returned to my desk. That was the first time I realized something painful. Sometimes people don't reject you because you are wrong. They reject you because they cannot imagine that you could be right. Months passed. I continued doing my job, but I also kept working quietly on my original project. I would stop at Starbucks after work, bring my coffee home, open my laptop, and spend hours coding and researching. Some nights I wondered if I was wasting my time. Maybe I should just give up. One night I was so exhausted that I picked up my bottle of Ambien sleeping pills. I didn't want anything dramatic. I just wanted my mind to stop racing. I wanted silence. But then my eyes fell on the paper sitting on my desk. The work that represented 3 years of my life. I put the bottle down. No. Not yet. My story wasn't over. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. A global company, one known around the world, discovered one of my old research papers. They had no idea that the person behind that idea was someone their own company viewed as just an ordinary employee. They contacted me. Our first meeting happened at a small diner in Portland. Rain poured outside, people sat drinking hot coffee, and I watched as those executives across from me finally understood the value of my work. They told me they wanted to acquire my project, and they were prepared to offer billions of dollars. Billions. Even hearing that word didn't bring me the excitement I expected. Instead, I felt a strange silence inside me, because all I could hear was Richard's voice from that meeting. "You don't understand strategy at this level." The first twist was that they had not discovered my project through my company. They found it through my personal research, the work I had created outside of my regular job. For the first time, my CEO realized that the person he had ignored could become the greatest opportunity for the future of his company. But there was another surprise waiting. Later, I discovered that some senior employees had intentionally kept my presentations from reaching Richard properly. They were afraid that if my project succeeded, their own importance would disappear. They tried to make me look insignificant because they knew I had something they didn't have. A new idea. Before sunrise, my phone was filled with missed calls. Richard, the same CEO who had ignored my emails for months, now wanted to meet with me. I will never forget that conversation. He sat across from me, but he didn't look as confident as before. He said, "We need you. We want you to come back and finish this project with our company." I looked at him quietly. There was a time when I wanted him to feel embarrassed. I wanted him to apologize and admit he was wrong. But in that moment I understood something important. The greatest victory wasn't watching him lower his head. The greatest victory was realizing I no longer needed his approval. I smiled and said, "Richard, the problem was never that you didn't understand my project. The problem was that you never tried to understand me." That day I didn't take revenge. I simply found myself. That night came again. I sat in the same house, beside the same window, under the same streetlights, with the same refrigerator light glowing in the kitchen. But I was different. The silence no longer made me feel alone. Instead, it reminded me that I had never abandoned myself. The TV was still playing softly. The coffee machine was quiet. Outside, the first light of morning slowly began to appear. I realized that for years I had been trying to prove my worth to other people, when the truth was, my worth had always been there. I closed my laptop, took a deep breath, and felt peace for the first time in years. Maybe the greatest answer in life is not the one we give to others. It is the one we finally give to ourselves. A new day was beginning. And this time it wasn't just a new morning. It was a new me. If this story touched your heart and reminded you to believe in your own worth, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Thank you so much for watching and being part of our journey. Your support means a lot and motivates us to bring more powerful stories for you.